time we walked for a while. The scenery was nothing like yesterday's. We passed through the residential area, which now showcased more and more empty abandoned houses. We were heading towards the richest parts. I've been there only a couple of times. First, you'd see the houses get bigger and taller, further away from one another as you progress, until eventually you can't even see the houses as they hide in the middle of acres upon acres of private lands. You find yourself following a seemingly endless fence, marking the edges that divide riches from rags. Unfortunately, the middle class was evaporating into poverty, thus highlighting the difference even further. So, here's the details provided by the initial police survey. A high-class woman was found dead inside her mansion's library. Apparently, the husband is a very successful businessman, major shareholder of a metallurgic company. He's been out of the apple for a while now, supposedly making subsidy deals with politicians. So someone knew that the big fish was away and he tried to get a piece of the riches? Beats me. I still need to see the scene, you know. Right, of course. You really need to stop assuming things, Sayori. I can't help it. This could be the big one. Right. Again, I had my noggin racing, thinking on how this could have gone down. There's no way this time was going to be a boring case without mystery. We arrived at the place, greeted by an iron gate with sturdy brick pillars on each side. A couple of officers were waiting there this time around. Already the differences with yesterday's case were showing. Pleasant night, fellers.
Evening, dollface. Took your sweet time.
Give me a break. I'm here to do my job.
Hey, woo, relax. Say, how about we hit the speakeasy after this mess?
Maybe, if it wasn't illegal, you chump. You're a cop.
And?
Forget it.
So who's the muffin? The man
swiped me from top to bottom with his gaze. It amazed me how Monica could keep her cool with all this. Goons as cops, with so little morals they may as well be mercenaries. Greetings, I'm the investigator's assistant. She's going to come along and take a look with me.
She coming after too?
Keep dreaming. Anyways, tell me, have you heard anything else besides the initial report?
Perhaps. Maybe a honey cooler will lighten up my...
Pally, you better keep your mouth shut up. All you do is keep yapping garbage like that.
Jesus, alright, lady, damn. I've heard that the butter and egg man went dizzy with a dame. Handmaid mentioned him and his woman having huge arguments over the phone.
Good boy. Finally something worthwhile out of your mouth. With a smirk on his face, the man tipped his cap and let us through. We walked across the paved road and past the fountain, and that led us to the enormous wooden doors. This time we had something to work with, it seemed. Already we've heard some clues. This was exciting. As we approached the pompous entrance, the doors creaked open and a butler let us in. He led us straight to the library for us to take a look at the scene. Murder! Sayori, please. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyways, I've seen enough.
Oh, it's Monica.
Anyways, I've seen enough. Huh? How? Don't worry, I'll let you have your fill. Go on, take a look. Right. I approached the body. A shocker to me. She was around our age. I had concluded that she was either in it for the dough or her tastes were a bit more developed than most. But never mind all that. She wore a dress and a fancy arrangement of plumes as headwear. The cause of her death was very clear. A vile, deep wound in the center of her chest, all the way down to her heart. Her mouth was slightly parted. Strands of blood escaped from it. The body was as fresh as if it was just found. Even the blood was wet enough to smear with what it touched. Eyes left wide open. I couldn't seem to find hints of struggle, unfortunately. Walking around the room, I decided to describe to Monica what I've been observing. She already had a lit cigarette and was enjoying herself. Care for a fag? It might ease your mind a bit. Still have to say no. So obviously she died of blood loss. Oh, Sherlock, tell me more. I'll take that as a compliment. I can't seem to find the weapon, though, which is concerning. I'm going to make it easier for you. She killed herself out of anguish over her husband cheating on her. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we can... Oh, Christ, no. cracking noise coming from under my feet beneath the rug. This was a lead. I uncovered the floor and found a bunch of crystal shards scattered, looking like they hit them in a rush. There's a sign of struggle. But without paying attention to Monica, I began looking around the room. I could tell she was not happy as she began tapping her foot while smoking her cigarette. Searching through the shelves of books, I found an odd-looking case full of extravagant knives and ornate short swords. So one of these could have been used for the deed. Right, but do you know what else this reveals? What? That she was also a nutcase. See? Case closed. No, not yet. It just doesn't fit. Sayori, listen. If they had the time to clean the blade so thoroughly and put it back in place, why didn't they bother to take care of the other loose ends like the crystals on the floor? I couldn't just stand there and ponder. I had to gather evidence. I had to look for more clues, so I rushed out of the room. Huh? Sayori, where are you going? I rushed past her, going straight to the dining hall. I needed to know. I started going through all the cutlery cabinets, searching for what I was hoping to find. Have you lost your mind? Just let me do this. I am not. You did not hire me to be your assistant just to stand around and type up stupid reports, now did you? She stood silent, in awe of my praise and an unusual act of rebellion. I returned to searching the multitude of cabinets until my eyes found exactly what I was looking for. A wooden knife holder with a missing blade. Aha! Look, miss. There is a missing blade. I knew there was something into this whole case. We have to go interrogate the servants. I know maybe one of the handmaidens. Oh, perhaps the butler. Or what if it was the policeman? Settle down, for God's sake. That missing blade means nothing. I told you, she committed suicide because she was being cheated on. The fact she had a knack for knives proves she was not a stable person. What? No, but she was a gold digger. Being cheated on would mean nothing to her. Now think, Sayori, since you seem to think you're smart. Wouldn't she be kicked out of here if the man decided to change women? I mean, maybe, but this discussion is over. We're heading back to the office. What the hell? This is outrageous. How could you say with so much confidence that it was suicide? Enough. No, I'm not going to just believe that she committed suicide, even though it's not about what you believe. People kill themselves. It's a cruel world. Deal with it. And now shut your beak and follow me. You better write the report as I told you. Dejectedly, I followed her as she headed out of the mansion. My frustration was unbearable. But despite everything, I still felt like an idiot. I let my curiosity, my hunger for thrill get in the way, and in the end, I impeded the investigation. What first started off as anger and frustration at her began being turned inwards. I can't believe your recklessness. Had I known just how delusional you were. She kept finding new and interesting ways to verbally berate me on our way back to the office. I kept silent. To think I had been shot down in such a way was tearing me apart. As we reached the office, she had fallen silent as well. The tension in the air could have been cut with a knife. We exchanged looks across the office space. Her eyebrows furrowed and her lips constantly parting and closing, seemingly mumbling to herself. Every time her eyes made contact, my head would fling away. As she took her hat and made her way to the exit, she looked back at what I would only assume was my distressed expression. Before I go, Sayori, I want to be clear. I'm not mad at you. I just want you to see the world for what it is and not for what you hoped it was. My face was already buried in paperwork. I'll leave you free for the night. Okay, miss. And so she turned around, heading to her apartment. Hot-headed as I was, I tried my best to relax a bit and recall everything that happened. Monica might be right, though. I might be looking at reality with too much innocence. But how am I supposed to believe the two cases were suicide? Maybe the first girl, that case didn't have any strong leads to follow. But the Knight's case, on the other hand, it doesn't make any sense. We didn't even interrogate the servants or any other suspect. I muttered to myself as I got up and saw the turntable lying there, gathering dust. Maybe I could roll some tunes to ease my mood. I carefully placed a random record from the pile. Now it was time to write my letter to Hallie. Perhaps now I could finally get my frustrations out of my mind. My dear, today's correspondence is dated Saturday, the 2nd of April. The last message received was dated Wednesday, the 27th of January. I'm deeply sorry, but I don't have enough spirit to write this letter like I usually do. Today was a mess of emotions and events turning around from exciting and intriguing to disheartening and disappointing. Today, Monica took me to my second case. That sounds like great news, right? And it really was for a good while. There was a high-class lady who had been murdered inside her mansion. We had early leads. It was looking to be like one of the complicated murder mysteries in the books we used to read. Needless to say, I was ecstatic, and Miss Monica even let me do my own investigating. It had me hooked. The corpse had an enormous stab wound all the way to her heart, but there was no weapon in sight, so my mind was racing and I started looking around for more clues until I finally found a missing knife in the kitchen. We obviously had to start asking the servants around, but guess what? Monica called it a suicide. Barely any effort put into the investigation or looking for clues. Just a declaration. I was about to lose my mind after that, just imagine. It's times like this where I wish I had you by my side. You always knew how to make me feel better. Honestly, I need a hug and someone to tell me that I wasn't completely wrong for thinking the way I do. Sometimes I wish we were kids again. You know, when we were never far apart for long. But now I haven't heard from you in a while. I never got your letters back. It feels like you left me. I hope you haven't. Please respond soon. I need to hear from you. Always yours, Sayori. Writing the last lines, I couldn't hold my tears. Like a small drizzle, a couple droplets reached the paper. I would rewrite it once again, but I was just too tired. I laid on the couch, crying for a bit until I dozed off. Monica was reading a paper while I wrote yesterday's case report. Without taking her eyes away from the paper, she put a platter on the player. As for my typing, I was nearly done. Just a couple more lines. It's finished, miss. Marvelous. Leave it here on the desk and I'll send it by the mail. So... Talking about mail, I was wondering... The answer is no. I didn't get any mail for you. She didn't even look at me to tell me that. What? You know what? This is bullshit, Monica. Where are my letters? It's been too long. Oh, darling, let me guess. Are you waiting for that guy to reply? Yes. It's not like him to take this long to send a letter back. You should forget about him. Who knows? Maybe he already found him some other broad. Her comment struck me like a hammer. What if she was right? What if he had found someone else and had simply forgotten me? I refused to believe it. Hallie would never. Look at you, all in shambles for some Joe. I'm not. Sure thing, dear. Monica, give me any... Just a moment. She turned to answer the call. Even though I was being rude and screaming at her, she wouldn't even react. She kept her cool and now was lighting a cigarette while speaking through the tube like nothing happened. All right, that was easy. Huh? Don't we have a new case? I understand if you don't want me to tag along. No, it's not that. It's just that I don't even need to go to the scene. The police already went through it. What was it about? Oh, well, someone reported a foul stench coming from an apartment in a residential building downtown. Police went through it and blah blah, told me it's a suicide, so I'm not bothering with this one. And you're just going to follow what those lazy brutes tell you? Why would they call you if they already knew the answer? I am not going to stand idle and file a case without even looking at the scene. Hey, relax, Sayori. Don't call me, or don't tell me to relax, Monica. Here, take a puff. It's gonna make you feel calmer. She held her cigarette up to me, half smoked. Out of spite, I snatched it from her claws, placed it on my mouth, and took a long breath. My lungs filled with the burning smoke, making me cough violently as I choked. I threw the rest of the lit cigarette on the floor. How the hell was that supposed to calm me down? That's it. I'm going to the scene, just like an investigator should. I'm going to prove you all wrong. She didn't even try to stop me as I grabbed the notepad and left. This time I walked alone. Downtown was not too far away. The nerve of that woman to try and close a case without even taking a look. Outrageous! But I had this fire burning inside me, the determination to show myself and my worth. Despite everything, I was unstoppable. Right before I thought about asking the passers-by, I found an apartment building with 2 coppers guarding the door. Aces! If I had to bet, this might be the place, and if not, I could always ask nicely. I approached the officers and they turned to face me.
Evening, kitten. Need some help?
Hello, officers. I hope I'm not interrupting, but I believe there's an investigation going on here, right?
Perhaps. Who's asking?
Oh, I'm Inspector Sayori. I was called to survey the scene and write down a report.
Oh, alright, lady, but you see, I've been here for a couple hours now with all that putrid smell coming out. How about a reward?
Sorry, but I stumbled on my words as I reconsidered how to properly handle the situation. Keep dreaming, officer. I stepped inside. Passing between the two policemen, I began smelling the... I suddenly felt a hand grabbing and groping my bottom.
Whoa, don't get angry, dollface. It doesn't make you look pretty.
Those filthy bastards! I boiled with rage.
Oh, she's mad now. Watch out.
I really wanted to slap the man's soul out of his body. By clenching my fists and grinding my teeth, I turned around, heading towards the scene. I really didn't need that at the moment. Why couldn't I handle them like Monica does? Their laughter faded as I moved inside the building. To keep the bitter thoughts away, I tried to focus on the case. The stench was really strong, so finding the door was not hard at all. I took out my notepad and I looked at the doorknob. Taking a quick breath, I prepared myself. I'm ready. Determined, I opened the door. My initial and now... What the hell? Is that... No, this doesn't make sense. This is impossible. It can't be possible, it can't be, it can't be. I told you so. I suddenly wake up, soaked in sweat. What was that? My hands are shaking. Monica. I'm supposed to do the right thing for the festival with her. But what was the thing again? The pamphlets. Maybe I can ask Callie to come help. No, wait, he's busy. He's busy spending the day with her. He'll probably have fun, right? More fun than with me. I guess it's better that way then. Better he enjoy himself than be saddled with me. This is awful. I cower under my sheets. After a while, I hear a faint knock coming from my bedroom door. It's that... I don't want this. Not now. I want to be alone.
It was all a dream. Ah. Pretty interesting presentation, though. And that was it for Dreams of Literature Noir. Short, little, interesting mod. I was kind of curious to see if it was going to go a little further, but... Yeah, I wasn't really sure, like, where it was going to go. Like, it almost feels like kind of out of place that it just turned out to be a dream. But, they had a short story, and they told it, and that's all they wanted to do with it. So, I guess it's all right. But that's gonna do it for this one. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time with more Doki Doki. Hope to see you then. Bye bye.